Hello class, my name is Mr. Docile, and I will be your supply teacher today. Your other teacher, Miss Feather, is quite ill. She had a serious problem with the computer, so I will be taking over her class for today. And, as you well know, I will be teaching you English, which is a subject I'm clearly knowledgeable on. Okay, so when is your GCSE exam going to take place? Tomorrow. Has your previous English teacher filled you in well with the things you need to do? Okay. She doesn't know a lot about English, and I'm sure she does. I have faith in her. It's okay. It's fine. I can cover the whole GCSE syllabus in this short session we have. Don't worry about that. Okay, what book have you been looking at for your? You don't know. Okay. I'll pick a book, and we can see. We go from that. Have any of you read Trainspotting? No? Do you reckon you could read it in a couple of minutes? No, probably not. How about a short book? Something you could read quickly. Tell you what, in your desks, I know, as one of the teachers informed me, one of the prerequisites is you always have a dictionary with you. If you'd like to take out your dictionary. Good. If you could open up your dictionary to the first page. See, this is the book we're going to be analysing. See, it's a book that's been around for a while. It's in pretty much every language. The authors, Oxford and Collins, they're very versatile authors, and it's a book not known for being dim. In fact, it's got a lot of varied vocabulary in that book. It's probably the book with the most varied vocabulary you'll find, so it's very good for this session. Yes, so if you'd like to open your dictionary to page 1, I should probably run you through the narrative of the story. It's not big on narrative, if I'm honest. If a question pops up about narrative, do your best to wing it, I think. Just say, it shows a clear progression of words beginning with A, then going on to B, then stumbling shortly on to C, but not before a bit of the end B words, and then to D, and E and F, and so on. So I think if a question like this pops up, that's really your best plan of action, is to go with something like that. Again, not a solid idea by any means, but it's one to consider. It's one to consider. If you get a question about how it describes setting, however, that's a good one, because there are plenty of describing words in that book. You could go for nice, which is under N, or pretty, which you'll find under P, or other such adjectives like so, which you'll find under A. So there we are. I think you've got all the bases covered, really. If they ask you a question about how does the author use language to further describe the settings in which he or she creates, I think that's a gift of a question, really, with a book like that. No, that really is a gift of a question. And really, we're killing two birds with one stone here as well, because the second half, the spelling, the marks you need to do on spelling, I think it's about 15% of your marks are on spelling. So, reading this book, you'll be... So, yes, I think that would be a wonderful idea. If you'd like to all just flick through your dictionaries for a second, whilst I pick up this book on the syllabus, and just remind myself of these things I already know. So, after you finish flicking through your dictionary, there is a section on a short piece of random, usually paper, maybe for you to analyze or read, and it'll ask you about the language, the structure, the format, which is something I can't initially prepare you for exactly because I don't have a copy of the what word is it? The sheet. We'll go with the sheet. I don't have a copy of the sheet, so if I get something random to, say you walk into the exam and they give you something that looks like this. Now, initially, I know you'll be quite surprised, going, why, that's a blank piece of paper. How are we supposed to analyse a blank piece of paper? But I assure you, you'll find ways. Maybe they ask about the language used. Well, there is no written language, but language comes in many forms. Language is just what it displays to you, it connects to you, it's how it talks to you. And obviously, as you know, from sign language and other ways, you don't have to... there are ways of communicating language that are not visual or verbal. As you see, a nice bit is white, and you've got the blue line down there, and that blue line could represent a lot of things. It could represent the divide between the minority and the majority. This could be represent the usual people, and then the blue line, just here, the blue line could represent the divide, but the divide of the smaller, maybe more wealthier people, well, it has holes in. I'm not sure why it could have holes in. Perhaps wealthier people like holes, or they're less wealthier people, or perhaps you can see through wealthier people more. I am unsure exactly, but that's up to you to infer. That's your job. Say something else, but they may say, what could the author be trying to convey? And what methods would they be doing to convey it? Now, I would say to you, if someone gave you this, they would be trying to convey a very minimalistic indeed, portrayal of maybe anything. It's up to your interpretation. As I said, obviously, a blank piece of paper can mean a lot of things. So you could say this blank piece of paper, ignoring the line and the stripes for now, could say, he could be writing about poverty and saying, well, this piece of paper represents the world. There's nothing on this piece of paper, so somehow that must connect to poverty. You see where I'm coming from. Okay. So those are the two halves of the paper I think you'll be really struggling with. Yes. Okay. Any questions? That's a lot of questions. Okay, you, there at the back with the stupid face. Yes, you can go to the toilet. I would advise you leave the door and use the provided facilities. Otherwise, you'd just make a mess on the floor, and no one wants that. Except for him. So there we are. Okay. Please, any more questions? Yes, you. No, I was kidding. I know you don't want to see that man shit himself. Just sit back down. Okay, you. A question about the book, yes. Speak up, Gerald, speak up. You don't have a dictionary. I don't have any spare, I'm afraid. I don't suppose it'd be the end of the world if, you were to just not go in with a book and make most of it up. I can't see the problem with that, as I'm not going to know you didn't have a book. Perhaps your answers will seem right. In fact, yes, that makes sense. Everyone put your dictionaries away. We're going to actually make up a book. You could do this individually, or you can do it in pairs, or in threes, or we could do it together. I don't really care. My shift finishes very soon. So, how about, we make the theme a very controversial theme, so when the examiner looks at it, they'll go, that's controversial, and we like that response. That's a response we like, is if the examiner is glued on the paper and goes, they may have made that up, but they made that up well. It's going to probably give you lots of marks, possibly, maybe. So, we'll go with that attitude. Remember, these examiners are marking hundreds, if not thousands, if not literally millions of tests every hour. They're quite busy. So, you've got to give them something original, something out there. In fact, something else I'd suggest, if you want to make your paper really stand out, because they only give top marks to papers that really go, oh, that stands out, either maybe spit on your paper, give it a different texture, or maybe bring into the examination hall something sticky like glue or chewing gum, and sort of prod that around to make your paper really stand out, make it unique. If you're feeling adventurous, you could bleed on the paper, or maybe get small bits of fecal matter and roll it up inside, just so the examiner goes, because that's the reaction you want. That's a shock reaction, and that's only really usually achieved by really good writers. Okay, I'm going to leave you to ponder on that, because my lunch break starts in 5 minutes. But, if you have any problems, talk to your old teacher, and you'll probably never see me again, because I'll probably get fired. Okay, lovely meeting you all. Remember, my name is Mr. Smith, and I live just down the road, Okay, I'm going to go, but you guys, good luck.